event center for Colorado basketball.
There's an alley-oop to the net.
The Buffs are back, and single-game and group tickets are on sale now. Come cheer on your Buffaloes as they take on Big 12 powerhouses like Arizona, Kansas, Texas Tech, and more. Groups of 10 or more can take part in exciting game day experiences. Grab your tickets today at cubuffs.com/tickets or call the CU Athletics ticket office at 303-492-8282.
Just how good is Pure Talk's current deal for unlimited wireless? Well, you might say it's the deal of your lifetime. Because right now, for just $29.95 a month, Pure Talk is offering unlimited talk, text, and data for life. Not your phone's life, your life. This is Pure Talk's top-tier plan. It comes with a crazy fast 5G network along with a 30-gig hotspot. And at just $29.95 a month, there has never been a better opportunity to lock in a ridiculously low rate for as long as you live. And save thousands and thousands of dollars along the way. This plan is normally $65 a month, but if you switch today, you will save over 50% every single month for the rest of your life. See what I mean? It really is the deal of your lifetime. Dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. Offer ends 12/7. Some restrictions apply. Details at puretalk.com.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 720-440-7900 or go to RockyMountainMen'sClinic.com. We have 5 offices across the Front Range to serve you.
Happy holidays, Colorado. This is David Chemansky with U.S. Mortgages, and after 30 years, we could not be more thankful and grateful to this great state and all the people who have contacted us and trusted us for their loan needs. Remember to take time to reflect on what matters most this holiday season, like family, friends, and God. We are in such a blessed country, and we all have so much to be thankful for. So from all of us to all of you, thank you and happy holidays.
Hey, Stoke here. At Colorado Joint Replacement, your hip or knee replacement surgery is their first priority. They completed over 27,000 joint replacements since 2005, and their expert surgeons are committed to helping you get back to the life you love. To schedule an appointment, visit coloradojoint.org.
Call Fix-It 24/7 for same-day service for any heating needs. Fast, reliable comfort when you need it most. Go to fixmyhome.com and click Book Now today.
KKFN and KKFN HD1 Longmont, Denver.
You're listening to Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Welcome to Denver Sports Tonight, taking a look at the biggest stories in Denver sports. From your online home for the best opinions and information on the Broncos, Nuggets, Avalanche, Rockies, and more. DenverSports.com.
And it is Denver Sports Tonight on this Tuesday night in the Mile High City. He is Marcello Romano. I'm Will Peterson. We will roll with you for the next hour. Try to keep up with the music there. Cello, you got to turn
high
your
note, Will.
mic on and do radio.
Nobody knew that until you said that.
Yeah,
Gosh,
I
come on,
you.
we're both radio hosts here, man.
Sorry. Hey, man, we usually take a little bit of a look back on Tuesday, but I want to take a kind of a deep dive look back because so much happened in that Broncos and Commanders game. First time I'm getting a chance to chat on air about it. First time I'm chatting with you about it.
Yeah.
You know, the Giants game's still the game of the season, right? Because of the comeback, 19-0, 26-8 with 5 minutes left. But if it hadn't been for that Giants game, then they played the game of the season. I even saw some national folks saying the Broncos and Commanders just played the game of the NFL season. And it's like, well, if you think about it, that's actually the Broncos' second best game because the Giants, the Super Bowl 50 reunion, the comeback is going to be one. But I do think it goes to show you that we in Broncos country were on the edge of our seats, obviously. But we have to remember that was a game that the whole country was taking in because it's Sunday night. You're done with Thanksgiving. You're dreading going back to work tomorrow. Even if you're a casual football fan, you're like, all right, I got one more in me. You're going to turn that game on. What a treat it was. And I use treat because they won. How stressful it was as well. That was a wild 3.5 hours in Broncos country.
Yeah, because in the nation, the last time you saw this team play, you saw the pillow fight between them and the Raiders, right?
True.
The 10-7 game that I was lucky enough to be at. It was terrible. So for them to have that type of game, it was I don't know. I'm going to ask you this. I'd put the Philly win up there too because it was on the road and you had to do something pretty crazy in the fourth quarter to come back and win that game. But I think I had more concern. This is crazy to me. In this game, watching it kind of play out down the stretch than I did in the Kansas City game.
You felt like they were always going to beat the Chiefs.
After that first drive, I had some level of comfort. And I don't know why that was during that week, but the other night with missed opportunities and then not being able to get off the football field, two things were like, dude, you can't keep giving this team these opportunities. At some point or another, they're going to capitalize on it. And we've seen years where we've seen Broncos lose that game, lose that type of game in that similar scenario, and they would have given up the 2-point conversion. Now, credit Nick Bonito for making a phenomenal play because the play that was drawn up was there for them to win that football game. But you give Washington credit, man. Mariota played well against a very good defense. I'll ask you the question, though. Are we starting to see this defense tire? And then the amount of plays that they had to be on the football field on Sunday night, some of those drives, like led by Marcus Mariota, those are things I would have been like, how many plays? Because was it 18 plays to get them into overtime?
Yeah, the drive that they kicked the field goal at the very end of regulation.
Yes.
All right, so a lot to unpack from what you said. I want to start with your first question about did I ever feel like they were going to lose? And I definitely was nervous that Washington was going to find a way to steal it at the end of regulation because they got into field goal range with 30-ish seconds left, and it's like, uh-oh, they're going to have a couple shots at the end zone. So when the Broncos tightened up there, I felt better. I was fascinated on the coin toss that Washington gave the Broncos the football. Now, I understand new NFL rules. Everyone gets to touch it even if you score a touchdown. But that being said, that defense was exhausted. And what did they do? They told Bo Nix, your fourth quarter stunk. We think we can stop you one more time. Because if they go 3 and out there, all the Commanders need is a field goal, and they win 23-20. And it was so cool to see Bo Nix come out and just march them down. He hits Harvey for 12 yards, hits Troutman for 12 yards, and then Evan Ingram makes his best play in a Broncos uniform. Perfect ball by Bo Nix right over the middle. RJ Harvey punches it in. At that point, I'm like, okay, they're going to escape, right? They're going to win. And then Washington gets that fourth down, and they've got Mariota, Chris Collinsworth, Mariota.
Someone gave him talking points on that one.
They've got him dead right, Joe. They absolutely do. I mean, it's 4th and 6, whatever. Benito's got arms on him. Franklin Myers is right there, and he somehow escapes. And Talanoa Hufanga makes a play, and the ball ends up in the hands of Brandon Jones, and you're like, oh, thank goodness, they won. Flag. Here comes the flag. And honestly, it was a good flag. I mean, Talanoa Hufanga, I think, thought that the ball had been tipped or the play was over, and he absolutely wrecks the Commanders' running back, and PI was the right call. And then, I mean, as this overtime couldn't get any wilder, he throws a bomb of a touchdown, but there's a holding penalty on the Commanders, and you're going, okay, they are going to win. They're finally going to win. And then Riley Moss, God bless him, didn't get any flags, wore the boxing gloves last week. That was a huge talking point on the broadcast, but he loses focus. He loses focus on Deebo Samuel, burns him to the inside, gets down to the 1-yard line, whatever, and it's like, this is why people think that Riley Moss could burn you in the playoffs because of stuff like this. And then what happens? Stop him 1st and goal, stop him 2nd goal, 3rd and goal. PS2 gets a pick set on him, Cello. It was a pick. It was offensive PI, but Scary Terry gets the touchdown, no flag. And I'm sitting there going, they had 11 billion chances to win this game, and now it's 27-26. But I will say, and I want your thoughts on this, in that moment, I was relieved that this was the last play of the game, right? Someone was going to win it and someone was going to lose it. And Dan Quinn at 3-8, he was always going to go for 2. And Sean Payton made that comment post-game. I knew if they scored, he was going to go for 2. I didn't want the Broncos to have a stupid tie next to their name. I didn't think Quinn had any interest in tying the game either. But I felt the sense of relief of like, all right, You've had so many chances, but one play here decides it, and you highlighted it. Nick Bonito made a hell of a play, and if Nick Bonito does not get a cast on that football, the Commanders win 28-27.
Yeah, man, and I don't know how long it's been for and I've kind of chilled out with my fandom watching this team, but a lot of that also goes to the subpar mediocrity, even below mediocrity, that we've been forced to watch for most of a decade, right?
Sure.
Since Super Bowl 50, we've kind of gotten melancholy almost to this team. It brought back one of those feelings where, I'll be honest with you, I threw a hat. I haven't thrown a hat in I don't know how long.
Yeah.
What
play did you throw the hat on?
When Riley Moss got beat.
By Debo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I credit him for actually making the tackle. I mean, he could have let him walk in at that point, but it made them run a couple extra plays where the Broncos have been pretty stout in a goal line defense. But it's the first time in a while that I've had that expectation, knowing what's in front of them if they go ahead and do what they're supposed to do. And that's beat a bad Commanders football team with a backup quarterback. And I have seen years, even before Payton, teams that were like, oh, there's no way that Charlie Fry's going to come in here and beat the Broncos, whether it was with the Browns or the Raiders at one point. That type of feeling kind of was reignited in me, and I was frustrated. I thought after they finally scored, I'm like, it's over, dude. We've given them way too many opportunities, and this defense, to your point, even at the end of regulation, was gassed, and it's a concern for me because I told you, or I didn't tell you last week, I told Dante, I was like, hey, dude, this was the point of the year last year where the defense started to fall a little bit. Because when you're the calling card for the team and the amount of plays they've been out on the football field this year, I mean, Denver's up there with the most 3-and-outs. If you don't have some of those 3-and-outs in the fourth quarter, maybe you don't get to this point either, but you're forcing your defense to continually go out there and play at a high level. Some point or another, we got to figure out those little lulls that the offense is having, especially late.
No, I would agree, and it was kind of a reverse game. You know, we thought of Bo Nix being bad for 3 quarters and then so great in the fourth quarter. He was really good the first 3 quarters and then did struggle in the fourth quarter, but totally redeemed himself, of course, with the drive in overtime. You mentioned the defense, and that was my column today at DenverSports.com of the Broncos proved they can win with more than just defense, and to me, that's huge because they're not a one-trick pony after all. I mean, you look at it, this is a positive for the Broncos. It wasn't sustainable for one side of the ball to be the reason they won every single week. It was nice to change things up with, in my eyes, Bo Nix being the catalyst for Denver's 10th win of the season because one great unit can lead a team to a Super Bowl, but generally balance is the recipe for hoisting Lombardi. And even if it was stressful at times, the Broncos may have found that on the very last day of November, and balance was important to that clutch win. And you can bet it'll be important moving forward. So I'm choosing to go, yeah, defense struggled, but I'm choosing to go glass half full. Because if you had told me on, Sunday morning or what, did you do the show on Sunday?
Yeah.
If you had told me on Sunday, Commanders are scoring 26 points, I would have gone, ooh, I'm not so sure they leave Washington with a win. For the Commanders to score 26 and the Broncos still to win, I actually think was a positive, Cello, that the offense carried the weight in a victory for a change. I thought that was a good thing for them.
No, and I get your point with that because if you want to reach that ultimate goal and win a championship at some point or another, no season, say for maybe the Baltimore team, I think they went 5 straight games without scoring a touchdown.
You're talking about the 2000 Ravens?
2000 Ravens. And that's they're all-time great, and I'm not ready to put this year's Broncos team up with that, but you're going to have to do something. You're going to have some semblance of an offense for them to kind of get where they want to go. And to your point, yes, it was encouraging. Bo Nix looked very comfortable the other night.
He did.
He looked very reminiscent of what you saw towards the end of last year. Taking me back to that Cleveland game. For whatever reason, and I guess I'm just the unlucky one that went to the night game where everyone got to see it locally and they only put up 10 points. For the most part, when the light shines the brightest on this guy, this is why all of the other things, he hasn't been good, or his completion percentage is bad. When it matters, well, he's always delivered so far. To the point where it's he not only has the belief in himself, his teammates have a belief in him, his coaching staff has a belief, and now the teams on the other side are don't give that dude another opportunity. He's starting to build that type of reputation for himself in his second year.
Yeah, he really is. And his touchdown to Cortland Sutton at the end of the first half, come on. That was flat out filthy. It was sick. If Patrick Mahomes did that,
I was just going to say that. Then it would have been on the highlight shows over and over.
I mean, CNN, Fox, MSNBC, pick your favorite news network. They would have broken in. And, well, we've got breaking news out of the nation's capital. Patrick Mahomes just threw the sickest touchdown pass you've ever seen. I mean, the way he kept the shin off the ground and the knee off the ground and the sidearm delivery. I mean, that was – Sean talked about it a little bit. That's the kind of stuff you can't teach. He talked about we can't go over to field B and teach that. Yeah. That's just natural, God-given talent, athleticism, whatever you want to call it. And that's the kind of play that Bo makes that makes him such a tantalizing prospect for this Broncos team. And, I'm not talking out of left field here. That throw, along with all his fourth quarter comebacks, is starting to get him into the same conversation as John Elway, the GOAT in Denver Broncos history. People like yourself, like a lot of hosts here at the station, players at the station, Mark Schlereth, great example, who played with Elway, are not saying Bo's Elway. He's got a long freaking way to go. But they're seeing tiny little glimpses of number 7 and number 10.
If you're within striking distance, and hell, maybe even if you're not, if there's still time on the clock, because if you go back to even the Giants game, the way that happened, there's no way that makes sense. Even now, breaking it all down, there's no way that makes sense. So, yeah, it's like every time he's had that opportunity, I don't remember the last time that he kind of faltered with that opportunity. Maybe that Chargers game where they had a chance.
Yeah, but remember, he had Cortland Sutton on the deep one, and they missed by a half an inch against L.A.
Yeah, it was close.
And then the Colts game, he did throw the bad pick in week 2. Didn't get any favors done with the Will Lutz doink, but between the Lutz doink and the Bo Nix pick. But you're right, it's been September. I mean, they won 9 in a row. They're 10-2. Bo is showing up in the biggest, most critical moments. And I did watch Elway growing up, but Elway won his 2 Super Bowls when I was 8 and 9 years old. So I don't have a huge appreciation. I mean, I have an appreciation for it. I just don't have the huge memory bank context that someone like you would. Do you see shades of Elway and Nix?
Yeah, well, that's why I mean, like, where if they're just keep it close. You could be like, you're not going to play your best game week in and week out. And obviously, John had a lot of highlight games that you got to watch at that point of his career.
Sure.
It was like his Star Wars type of time, other than I think that 93 is when he won the MVP. But it was like that was him late. And you'd love to have that all the time. That's not the National Football League. I mean, the other guys are getting paid, too, to try and make life miserable for you. And as long as you're within striking distance or you have the opportunity to possess the ball late in a game, I have the utmost confidence in the guy right now. It's like it's for whatever reason, the game slows down for him. I don't know why it doesn't happen in the first quarter sometimes. Sometimes in the first quarter, it's like there's way too much going on. But when they finally cut the reins off and just be like, you got to go out and do it now. And they're a little more tempo, which I know Sean doesn't love. But that's the type of the similarities are there for sure.
Yeah, it's funny you bring up the tempo because I had multiple different people, including my dad, text me, why don't they just go tempo all the time? And I did the explanation of, well, Sean thinks it tires out the defense. And as people responded to me, well, going 3 and out also tires out the defense, right? 3 and out, 130 on the field. Your defense ain't getting a lot of rest. If you go tempo, 5 plays, 70 yards, it takes 4 minutes. That's more rest. We've dissected it before. Sean's not going to go tempo all the time. But you're right, Bo looks good in tempo. Can I say something else about this game? Washington's a lot better than their record. And people are going to tell me I have orange and blue glasses on because the Broncos are getting pooed on for only beating a 3-8, now 3-19 by 1 point. Jill, I'm curious your thoughts. I walked away like really impressed with the Commanders and also a reminder of, this is why this team went to the NFC title game a year ago. They're very talented. They were more healthy. Terry was back. Zach Ertz, tight end, tore the Broncos up. Debo had some moments. The running game, I mean, Rodriguez, I think, is going to be a player.
You want to talk about going down memory lane? Seeing a Washington running back wearing the number 36 with the white top and the maroon pants running early in that football game. I know you were probably too young to remember. I don't know if you were alive yet. This was the 87 Super Bowl. Broncos up 10-0 against Washington. Timmy Smith goes nuts for like 200-some yards. Oh. They score 35 points in the second quarter. I tweeted, I was like, I don't love that number 36 is like a bowling ball like Timmy Smith was. But it showed some – I agree with you. You go back and look at their schedule. A lot of the games, it's not like they're getting completely blown out. I mean, they're still competitive. They haven't had Jaden Daniels hasn't been on the field as much as they wanted, but I'd give you a ton of credit to Marcus Mariota. Because, like, dude, that dude just got himself. He's going to, if you're in Cleveland next year and you can't find, like, this year's not great for quarterbacks as far as collegiate classes coming out, and I need, like, a stopgap to get me to the next year, his performance the other night, I would enjoy having something like that.
Yeah, it's an intriguing thing. I mean, Mariota looked like he took a time machine to back when people thought he was going to be the next big thing in the NFL. I mean, the guy was Heisman Trophy winner, number 2 overall pick. They had huge expectations.
Was that on him or was that on Vance Joseph? Because here's why I'm going to ask you
Well, he got the ball out so quick. I mean, the Broncos couldn't.
They made a big point of that on the broadcast, but then it kind of took me back to that Giants game too. Why was it looking so easy for Jackson Dart?
Well, is that a blueprint to solve this Broncos defense? I think is what you're asking.
Yeah.
Is run the ball down the throat, which Washington did. I think, 143 yards on the ground. QB runs, and don't hold on to the football. Because the biggest weapon the Broncos have on this defense is their ability to sack the guy. And we know that sacks aren't as good as interceptions and fumbles, but they're pretty darn close when you look at the breakdown. And Denver only had 2 sacks in a game that went, 70-ish minutes, 68 minutes with overtime. So I do worry that maybe a little bit of a blueprint has been laid. You can promise that offensive coordinators are going to be studying that film for these final 5 regular season games in the playoffs. You and I are in a good mood. We're keeping it positive. The texters are mad at us, and I think Dante's mad at us too. So I will let him chime in.
I do agree with you that there's some form of blueprint there, and you can even point to the Colts game. Daniel Jones was getting that ball out very quickly, and that's one of the, not as good games the Broncos defense has had. However, this Commanders team's not that good. Marcus Mariota is not very good. He had a great game against the Broncos, but if you go back to his 4 games that he started before that, he put up 7 points, 14 points, 22, which he scored a touchdown down 25 late in that game, so it was really worse than that, and then 13 points. He made this Broncos defense, the Broncos defense made him look better than what he's done prior to that.
You almost just gave him credit. So now it's like, well, then I'll ask you, because you have a lot of confidence in this Broncos team. If Marcus Mariota is able to do that, and we just saw it, 10 days prior, Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid aren't stupid. But who had a better game against this defense?
Marcus Mariota.
So did Jackson Dart. Like there's sometimes
I think it was a bad performance from the Broncos defense. I don't think we should be giving Mariota that much credit.
Ooh, that's an interesting question right there. What side of the coin do you look at this on?
Did
Mariota play out of his mind? Which I'm raising my hand. I think he did. I walked away very impressed.
And you can say
Mariota.
he had a good one-off performance, but to be like, oh, he's one of the better backups in the NFL, that's just wrong. To say, I think you were trying to say that he could be a starter next year.
No,
to me, that's also wrong.
Better backups and a bridge quarterback if I needed it. Like Jameis Winston would be my number 1.
Yeah, I think Mariota's still like an average backup at best,
but dude,
15th at the highest.
And some of those throws, and I know you were stuck in like the airport or something, right? Watching it.
I was.
That throw, because you said some people called it the best game in the NFL so far. You had the Bo Nix throw, which they got a lot of credit for.
The one to Sutton.
And then the touchdown that Mariota threw.
To Traylon Burks. Former first-round pick who hasn't done squat, but had
that
an Odell Beckham-type catch.
That ain't an easy throw to make. I mean, he put it literally where only his guy could catch it.
Well, then why don't you answer Dante's question? Because you know my stance on it. I think Mariota played great. I'm not saying that the Broncos defense had their best game of the year. You could make a case it was their second or third worst game of the year. I think the Giants was the worst game of the year. I think the Colts was probably their second worst game of the year. And I think Washington was their third worst game of the year. That said, we know Nick Bonito played hero when it mattered the most, and they got out of there. They're now 10-2. But what are your thoughts on Dante's question? Did Mariota play great? Did the Broncos defense stink, or was it a combo of the two?
I think it's probably a combination, this is why I brought the question up earlier. Are we starting to see them get fatigued a little bit? And that game especially, like they were on the football field way too long in that game against Washington.
Yeah, but they had played one game in 23 days before that. So I don't know. I mean, I'll give you fatigue in the fourth quarter in OT because that's just humans, right? Even guys who run marathons get tired. But it's not like they had some gauntlet of a stretch leading up to that game against the Commanders.
Oh, would they play 3 games in like 15 days prior to that?
Yeah, but one game in 23 days. That's a lot of time off your feet.
Which team has been on which side of the football has been on the field more this year?
The defense.
It's the only. I'm not saying that's why it happened on Sunday night. I think Mariota played out of his mind, and I think that was probably behind the Giants game for me, the worst defensive performance.
Yeah, I'd put Indy up there too. It felt like the Colts moved the football up and down the field.
Yeah, but Indy's like they were beating good teams. They're balanced. This is a 3-8 football team with a backup quarterback. The Jackson Dart one is a rookie quarterback making his second start against who's supposed to be the best defense in the league, and he made it look like he had been a veteran quarterback. That's why I put those two together.
Okay, but I think you're expecting perfection from this.
No,
group. I'm gonna give them the grace of a bad game because they are the reason Denver's 10-2.
I just don't get how a backup quarterback and a rookie quarterback can make one of the league's best defenses look so mediocre.
Pedestrian. And that's what they looked. They looked pedestrian. Does it worry you too, this tight end thing? Because Zach Ertz was a monster. He had 10 catches, and he got his hands on, 3 or 4 more footballs?
Kelsey had 9, right?
Yeah, 9 for 91. Zach had 10 for 106. I mean, it's broken record type stuff, but they haven't been able to guard a tight end for a long time. And even now, with an elite defense, they still can't guard a tight end. If the Ravens come here, Mark Andrews, Isaiah Likely. If the Bills come here, Dalton Kincaid, Dawson Knox. If the Chiefs come here, Travis Kelce and what may be his last rodeo. Does the tight end scare you in the playoffs? Because it feels like week in and week out, that's a soft spot for this Denver defense.
Yes. Yeah, well, and we thought, Dre Greenlaw will be able to kind of remedy that, right?
He did have the pick.
Yeah, but it wasn't like that. I don't
was
remember.
Mariota's lone bad throw.
Who was it that broke up? Was it Singleton?
Yeah, which was an awesome story. He had the big breakup on third down, playing his first game after cancer surgery. I mean, that should have been the headline. Unfortunately, they couldn't run the clock out, but that really could have been the Disney movie type ending that Alex Singleton deserved for his bravery, his courage to share his story. The pass breakup he had on Ertz on, 3rd and forever, that was awesome. But that was more of a one-off on a night where Zach Ertz dominated.
It's a concern for me, and also a concern for me is lately, and I love the addition of Talanoa Hufanga.
He's a monster.
But sometimes, man, people just brush him off like he's not even there. He got in the backfield 3 times that night, and I was like, tackle him. Or like the Kelce touchdown a few weeks back when Kelce catches it inside the 10, I was like, he's going to blow him up, and Travis Kelce just kind of brushed him off. Most of the time, I'm saying it's because it's surprising. Most of the time, he's flying around like Troy Polamalu used to, flying around with carelessness. A couple of those late, and I don't know why. And I know he wasn't feeling well leading up to it, so maybe there's some credence into that, into a little bit less strength in that performance on Sunday night. But he's always there.
Yeah.
It's just lately I was like, dude, make that play.
And I feel like he's had a lot of interceptions. He's been very close to interceptions that have not gone his way. The 23-16 says, don't forget Dan Quinn took over the defense after the Lions blowout win. I think that's a good point. I thought the Commanders' defense, even though Bo did move the football, has been a little more competitive with a change there. The 1470 says, Mariota looked good because it was all hike and fire. How many times did he get to his second or third read? I think that's a great text. It was hike and fire. And that's why the Broncos couldn't sack him. That's why Nick Bonito kind of felt like a ghost in that football game until it mattered the absolute most. The 54-20 points out they got Terry McLaurin back. Yeah, of course. That guy had 13 touchdowns last year for a team that was in the Final Four? He's a monster. And I thought PS2 played pretty well, but for PS2, his first game in a month, that's a tough test going against a guy that when he's healthy can be a top 5 receiver in the league.
James Palmer, real quick. James Palmer also had a really good point on the drive that if anybody knows this Vance Joseph defense the best, it would be a guy like Cliff Kingsbury who coached together in Arizona. So he has a lot of tape on him at least. So I think that could have played a factor.
Sure.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to be able to say that's what our game plan is to fire it off that quickly, but he was making the right decisions at the right time. So that's why I give a little credit to a guy like Marcus Mariota, because it was like, yeah, you could be like, in theory, I want this ball out of your hands in 2.5 seconds or less. That's all well and good, but when you have pressure like Bonito and Cooper and Allen coming at you at the snap and having to make, for the most part, he was making the correct decisions.
The 24-78 points out how bad the tackling was. So does the 83-51. That's a common theme. Yes, the Broncos tackling, for whatever reason, wasn't as crisp as it needs to be. All right, speaking of not crisp, what is going on with the Denver Nuggets? Lost 4 in a row at home. We'll dive into it with our guy Jake Shapiro next.
It was a back-and-forth, penalty-filled battle, but the Broncos walked away victorious thanks to an overtime touchdown from R.J. Harvey and a game-saving stop by Nick Benito. With another gutsy win under their belt, has Denver proven that they have the makeup of a championship-caliber team. Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Happy holidays from Done Right Home Improvements. Putting off that home makeover till after the holidays? Well, good, because book your project now for install after and save 16% or get a great financing deal. drhi.com.
If you love to travel, Capital One has a rewards credit card that's perfect for you. With the Capital One Venture X card, you earn unlimited double miles on everything you buy. Plus, you get premium benefits at a collection of luxury hotels when you book on Capital One Travel. And with Venture X, you get access to over 1,000 airport lounges worldwide. Open up a world of travel possibilities with the Capital One Venture X card. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. Lounge access is subject to change. See CapitalOne.com for details.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey guys, Mark Schlereth here from my friends at Xfinity. Imagine all that could happen in 5 years. Jobs may change, kids are going to grow, new memes will come out, but also, what if you had reliable, intelligent Wi-Fi and the price didn't change for 5 years? Well, thanks to Xfinity 5-year price guarantee, you actually don't have to worry about that part of your future. You're guaranteed 5 years of Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to your devices that need them the most, that finds and fixes any issues before you even notice them. It's like a super intelligent Wi-Fi that keeps you protected from threats online. Plus, you get incredible gaming speeds on multiple devices with no one battling for bandwidth. For the next 5 years, all your devices are going to be working in perfect harmony, and you get our best equipment with no annual contracts, no fees, no strings attached. So even though your kids will grow up and you still won't understand what 6-7 means, your internet will stay sharp, reliable, and most importantly, the price will stay put. All with the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that. Restrictions apply. Select plans only.
Colorado's favorite appliance store is celebrating huge savings during our Black Friday sale going on now. Hi, I'm Brad Barnett, president of Mountain High Appliance. Craft your dream kitchen and save up to $4,400 on select KitchenAid appliance packages. Enjoy a special financing and our price match guarantee with exclusive offers you won't find at big box stores. Visit us today and experience the difference. When you think appliances, think Mountain High Appliance.
Mountain High Appliance, your favorite appliance store.
Thank you.
You've got your whole life ahead of you, so choose a Medicare plan you can count on. And that's what you get with a Medicare Advantage plan from United Healthcare. With more than 45 years experience serving its members, United Healthcare has plans with low monthly premiums that fit your life today and as your needs change tomorrow. The Medicare annual enrollment period ends December 7th, so go to uhc.com/Medicare today. United Healthcare Medicare plans. It's Medicare coverage Colorado can count on.
Don't care for my friends at Roller Auction, leader in Colorado auctions for over 40 years, and they have one of my favorite auctions that's open for bidding right now. That's ending December 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning. Government Fleet Vehicle and Equipment Auction. This has SUVs, sedans, pickup trucks, utility trucks, dump trucks, vans, police vehicles, trailers, various municipality equipment, and so much more. Like I said, it's open for bidding right now, ending December 3rd at 9 o'clock in the morning. Government Fleet Vehicle and Equipment Auction only at rollerauction.com. That's rollerauction.com.
With Steel, batteries are included. This holiday season, give a gift that's ready to go right out of the box. For everything from cleaning up the yard to cutting up firewood, Steel tools check off the wish list and knock out the to-do list. And right now, buy select battery tool sets and get a free extra battery. Visit SteelUSA.com for holiday deals and gift ideas. Happy holidays from Steel. Offer valid for a limited time only at participating dealers while supplies last.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
Samantha Flanagan here for Flanagan Law. If you find yourself in a car accident, do not tell the insurance company you are fine. They will hold that against you even if you end up with medical bills 3 months later. Protect your rights. Look for the Shamrock. Go with Flanagan Law.
This segment on 104.3 The Fan's powered by Red Rock Roofing.
Standing for greatness. It's Denver Sports Tonight on Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan.
The RamosLaw.com text line is on fire. Cello, people debating heatedly whether or not they want to give the Commanders credit or just take shots at the Broncos defense. Well, I see both sides of it, man. I do. It wasn't a great game for the Broncos defense, and the Commanders looked like a team that went to the NFC title game last year.
No, and even no matter what, how talented you are as a team, you're going to run into games like this. It's what happens at the end of it. And Nick Bonito made the play that made the difference. So the Broncos moved to 10-2, and that's what matters. I mean, you can think back. Even you remember the Broncos were 13-0 in 1998. What happened then?
Lost a couple.
Well, they lost to Kent Graham and the New York Giants, man. Like somewhere along the way, that's the NFL. And at some point or another, you got to make a play. The Broncos keep doing it. Other than the Patriots, name me a better-looking team right now.
Yeah, and we'll take a look around the AFC coming up about 6:45. Broncos still control their destiny for that number 1 seed. I want to bring in our guy, Jake Shapiro from DenverSports.com. He's got a CU sports broadcasting class in studio with us tonight. Great to see all these faces in here. And, Jake, you were at Nuggets and Mavericks last night. What in the world is going on? Denver loses 4 straight at home for the first time in the Nikola Jokic era.
Well, David Adelman will tell you it's an effort problem with their defense. I look back in the mirror at David Adelman and say, who controls the effort with the squad? And I think this is some of the perils of a rookie head coach with a championship expectations with the team, right? Like, a lot is being put on David Adelman's shoulders, and the whole thought for this defense would be effort and physicality. Well, when you're down 2 of your best defenders in Aaron Gordon and Christian Brown, it's hard to give that much effort. And also, and I talked to Spencer Jones about this last night, it's hard to be as physical because you're worried about fouling out because you don't have another body to come in and replace you.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big concern. That goes back to Michael Malone era as far as, and I've made this point numerous times, 30-point quarters, 40-point quarters. Defense in the NBA is strictly about effort. You just brought it up. I have 2 questions for you, and one may be super premature, but we saw an organization that with 3 games left in a regular season and a playoff berth already there, fire a head coach. If they don't see, and this is way early to be asking this, but would that be something, they showed they were ruthless enough to do it last year. If they don't get what they want and we're mid-season, is that kind of a decision that would be made? And then please help me out with Jamal. Is it going to be, what's the injury status looking like?
12 of their next 17 are on the road, which very well could happen without Christian Brown, Aaron Gordon, and maybe Jamal Murray, as you're alluding to. If they get through this stretch and they go like 10-7, so they end up at 24 and 14, I think would be the mark. I think they're in pretty good shape given the injuries that they've faced. Now, are Nuggets fans going to be happy that they're 11 games behind the Thunder at that point? No. But I don't think that this is a conversation that we should be having, Cello. But at the same time, I saw Luka Doncic get traded to the Lakers last year and Michael Malone get fired with 3 games left. So I'm never going to say no to anything anymore. I just would be absolutely stunned. I think they need the stability of having that coach throughout the course of this season, given how chaotic it was going into the playoffs. On the Jamal Murray front, I can tell you from being around the team yesterday, Jamal left the stadium a little bit early. He was wearing slides. It looked like his ankle was in a little bit of rough shape. Now, I don't have a timeline. No one knows yet. It hasn't been reported. But I would not.
What do you mean by slides, real quick?
Like slipper slides. Like he was out of his gym shoes very quickly, which tends to mean your ankle's in pain, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So I would guess that he's probably going to miss some time. What type of time, I don't know. But David Adelman said it right, and I think the people here locally know. Jamal Murray is a really tough dude. Is he always in shape? No, but he's very tough. So if he leaves a game because he's in pain, he's in pain. So that's what really worried me last night is Jamal Murray left the game. When we've seen him get hurt before in the past, he normally finishes out the game. Then you find out, he needs to sit for 2 weeks.
And he did try to come back in, and then obviously they pulled the plug on it. But I gotta talk about this because I see a lot of panic on social media last night. Oh my gosh, the Nuggets stink, yada yada.
But Cello's trying to fire the coach.
Yeah,
Hey, listen. The reason I say that is because you have a finite amount of time with the best player in the world. You've already wasted the last couple seasons. I'm not saying I haven't even told you it's premature. I'm saying if we get to mid-season and the Thunder, dude, they're on a tear right now. We have that promo running with Mike saying it's a 2-team race. Not anymore. The Lakers, you always laugh at me for saying that, but the whistle in the NBA is crazy for guys like LeBron and Luka. And then the Rockets are a big, strong team. Like, I just don't want them to start fast and then fizzle and not be where they need to be to make a playoff run.
All right, but let me spin my point out real quick. They're 14-6, and I see a ton of panic last night about losing to the Mavericks, losing the 4th straight at home. I get it. None of that's good. But, Jake, I got to ask you, they don't close with Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Christian Brown. That's 60% of their lineup. We were all watching Monday Night Football, hoping that the Giants would upset the Patriots. That certainly wasn't going to happen. Not a competitive game. I flip over to the Nuggets for the second half, and they're closing in the fourth quarter with Spencer Jones and Peyton Watson and Cam Johnson. Jake, it gave me flashbacks to Nikola and a bunch of guys. And what was Nikola and a bunch of guys? It was him and Will Barton and Facu and Monte Morris. I felt that way as a Nuggets fan last night. What side do you come in on? There's reasons to panic, or also, guys, it's December 1st, and let's be a little realistic about who the 5 players were on the floor in the final minutes against a bad Mavericks team.
The first time in 20 games that they've had a quarter under 20 points this season was in that fourth quarter last night without Jamal Murray. Tells you everything to know. If they scored 7 more points in that game, they probably win it at the end, right? I know they lost by 10, but you know how the NBA works at the end there. So I'm with you. I'm not panicking about the offense and the personnel issues right now, but it's the defensive issues to me. Ryan Nembhard played college basketball for 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know who that dude is, and he tore him up last night.
Well, he's Andrew Nembhard's little brother.
I knew the last name sounded familiar, but he's a two-way guy, right?
He's a two-way guy. He went to Gonzaga, very good player at Gonzaga. He had scored 28 or more points once in his entire 4-year college career.
Wow.
He did it last night in his 9th NBA game. That, to me, is the concern. It's the defensive part of it. And the fact that the Denver Nuggets needed 30 points out of Spencer Jones, who no one could pick out of a lineup in Denver 3 weeks ago, to even compete with the worst offense in the NBA, the Dallas Mavericks, that, to me, is the concerning part. But as far as the offense goes, Will, that's going to get solved when the horses come back.
I'm not concerned at all offensively. I don't think we have been for a while. The defense has been a big problem for them for the past couple of seasons, going back to when they won the title. The biggest concern for me is I don't really give a crap who you have out on the floor. You're losing 4 straight at home. Like that can't happen with this team,
especially
against to a Bulls team and they were all right actually, but Dallas rolled in at 6-15, and you had a 17-point lead at one point on your home floor. Like, those are the kind of habits that you got to get away from.
Cello, it's almost the opposite of the Broncos. You heard Bo Nix talk about it, where they have the confidence they're always going to win a game now just because they've done it so many times. 4 straight Nuggets home games have gone the exact same way, where they kind of build that lead, and then they all look at each other in the mirror and go, oh, uh-oh. And then it's lost. Like, they don't have that confidence that Bo Nix and the Broncos have right now of, we're going to win this game. In fact, I talked to Spencer Jones about this last night, and he said, I think we do have it on the road because we know it's more challenging, so we can't ever let our guard down. When we're at home, we get arrogant.
And there was a relaxed feeling to that Nuggets team last night, and it's been a relaxed feeling for a while. I mean, they haven't won a home game since early November against the Pacers. They beat the Warriors and the Pacers in that back-to-back, and now they've lost 4 straight, have won 7 in a row on the road. All right, Jake, 30 seconds or less. Just give me a concernometer, 1 to 10, because some people were at a 10 last night pushing the panic button. I was at about a 4. I'm curious where you are.
Oh, dude, I was going to say 4. I'm right there. Like, there are some things that are concerning, no doubt about it. But I'm not going to make snap judgments about a Nuggets team without Jamal Murray, Aaron Gordon, and Christian Brown. Reality of the situation is they're definitely not winning anything without those 3 guys. But we all think those 3 guys are going to come back at this point later in the season, right? We all think that, right?
Well, they should be. Yeah, they're all on track too.
And the whole goal of this season is just to have those guys healthy and Nikola Jokic in good shape come April. If that happens, the Nuggets team we saw the first 2 weeks is going to be the Nuggets team we see in the playoffs.
Yep, and that's the team that can beat the OKC Thunder. All right, coming up next, let's go look around the AFC, and I'll explain why the Denver Broncos still control their own destiny for the number 1 seed, thanks to Jake Shapiro, thanks to his class. Broncos talk next.
Join Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan at Blue Sports Stable in Superior for our Denver Sports Equipment Drive, benefiting Recruiting Classroom. We're taking donations of new or gently used sports equipment through December 20th. Head to denversports.com/equipment for a list of drop-off locations and most needed items. And help us spread some cheer this holiday season.
This holiday, doesn't she deserve Tacori?
Handcrafted in California, Tacori rings have design details you won't find in other diamond engagement rings.
Including Tacori's perfectly engineered crown and windows of light created by Tacori's iconic crescent design.
It's the Tacori touch, and you'll find it at Williams Jewelers, Colorado's only platinum Tacori store. I'm Steve Williams.
I'm Shayna.
And I'm Bruce Williams. She deserves nothing less. You'll find your Tacori jewelry at both Williams Jewelers.
Now celebrating over 75 years as Denver's first family of fine jewelers.
So this holiday season, come, fall in love with Tacori, the ring she's always dreamed of.
Tacori at Williams Jewelers,
where Colorado shines.
Williams Jewelers, we can make diamonds a part of your life.
Williams Jewelers, where Colorado shines. In Inglewood at Bellevue and Broadway, and in Cherry Creek North, the official jeweler of the Colorado Avalanche.
Dan Jacobs for 303 Law 4040, and I'm here with that beautiful voice you hear on the other end of the phone oftentimes when you call 303 Law 4040. It's my lovely wife, Kimberly. Kim, I know you and I had so much fun the other day. We actually met with a couple that had been in an accident up north in their house the other day, and Randy was so excited. He's like, I can't believe it. It's the lovely wife. She's right here in my kitchen.
He's too kind. It was really great to meet him and his wife and his pets and just be able to help them.
I think it helps that when you answer the phone, when people call 303 Law 4040, it makes things, I know calling a lawyer can be scary, but I don't know, your soothing voice just makes it a little bit easier.
Well, I just want to help. That's all. And I know how to do that.
I love the holidays. I always like to wish our listeners happy holidays. Would you like to do so as well?
Absolutely. Merry Christmas, everyone. I hope you have a wonderful new year.
And I hope you never need us, but just in case, save that number in your phone. You never know when you're going to need it. It's 303 Law 4040. That's 303 Law 4040.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed, or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 720-204-8100. That's 720-204-8100.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
You know that feeling when you catch a glimpse in the mirror and think, hey, I look 10 years younger. That's what happens when you stop dieting and start doing Soda weight loss.
I tried point counting, calorie counting, shots, and nothing has worked until Soda weight loss.
Soda weight loss gives you a personal nutritionist you can text anytime.
Everybody's great here. Everybody's encouraging. There were some times where I felt down and they brought me back up. If you stick with this program, you will lose weight and you will get to your goal weight.
When you sign up for Soda weight loss, your partner joins for free.
If you're ready to feel stronger, healthier, and yes, look and feel 10 years younger, this is your moment. No meds, no gimmicks, just real results with real support.
Remember, sign up now and your partner joins for free. Visit sodaweightloss.com. That's SOTA weightloss.com.
Soda is, say it with me, state of the art.
Heads up, pros. Now's your chance to unlock deeper savings. The Home Depot's new Pro Extra Preferred pricing can help you save thousands on the products your business uses the most. But the current benefit ends November 15th. Don't miss out. Registration for the new program is free and easy. Just bring your tax ID or business or contractor's license to the Pro Desk. Register now to lock in the best wholesale prices before it's too late.
Be careful if you haven't filed taxes in a while. The IRS is going after non-filers like never before. Whether you have income taxes or payroll taxes that have not been filed, Advanced Tax Solutions can help you get back in the system and avoid trouble with the IRS before they show up or send you a scary letter. Call the people I trust, Advanced Tax Solutions. They'll help you get back into the system and off the IRS's radar. 303-753-6040 or visit advancedtaxsolutions.com.
Get ready for every Broncos game with Super Bowl 50 champion Brandon Marshall as he joins The Drive every Friday afternoon at 4:45 exclusively on Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. Thanks to Corwin Toyota Boulder. Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan. DenverSports.com and the Denver Sports app. Denver Sports Station 104.3 The Fan presents Denver Sports Tonight.
Alrighty, appreciate Jake Shapiro and his insights on the Nuggets. I don't know, Cello, you're tossing out there. Are we going to fire Adelman? That was not a take I expected on December the 2nd.
Well, hey, dude, if you know that the window is now, am I wrong in saying that?
No, the window is now.
But
they're not going to fire the coach. It's just not going to happen.
Okay. If they keep playing like this, no. If they're 28-12 and then give me another 20 games down the road there, no, it's not going to happen. I said, I tried to make it as clear as possible, that if you got to mid-season and you were having these type of struggles defensively, would you entertain it? Dante, you have something to say about it?
Well, I was going to ask Will a follow-up question. Do you think there's a chance he's a one and done?
Nope.
Oh, you think no matter what, he's the head coach of opening day next year?
I know, and I feel like I can state this as a fact, and I think it's a pretty widely known fact, that Josh Kroenke does not like to make big personnel changes, whether it be in his front office or his coaching staff. And I would be very surprised knowing the way that Josh operates if he made David Adelman a one and done.
I would argue Josh Kroenke loves to make personnel changes to his head coach and his front office.
Well, look at his hockey team. He hasn't changed anything there in about 10 years.
Last year he made all of the changes.
Right, but that was very rare for him. His last GM left on his own accord. Tim Connolly went to Minnesota because he wanted to, and Michael Malone was one of the longest tenured coaches in the NBA. So I'll just push back that I actually don't think Josh Kroenke likes to make changes, and I think there's a lot of evidence he doesn't make changes.
Championship-winning coach got fired with 3 games left in a season.
That was drastic, though. Can we all agree that was kind of out of character?
And that would be the only reason I would bring it up. That accompanied with the fact that you interviewed who else for the job?
No one that we really knew of.
Who was even entertained, or did they even call on? We didn't. Nothing was really reported on it, so I don't know. Behind closed doors, maybe they made 13 calls. I don't know. But from the optics, from where we sit, is you were pretty satisfied with his playoff run that he had, and you were satisfied with that enough to say you can be the guy. But that would also beg the question, if it turns bad early and you're wasting another season of having the most talented basketball player on the planet right now, you ask that question.
Yeah, but it's not bad. They're 14-6.
I get that.
Like, if I had told you 20 games in 14-6, you would have said, great.
Yeah, but I wouldn't have said, is Oklahoma City sitting at 20-1?
But you can't control if Oklahoma City wins 70 games. That's out of your control, right?
But the whole idea is, why weren't they able to get over the Thunder last year? In the first do you think home court advantage matters in the NBA?
To an extent, yeah.
Which sport matters most as far as home courts?
Football.
Really?
Absolutely.
Oh, I disagree totally.
I mean, the way Mile High shook against the Chiefs the other day, the way it shook during AFC title games against Brady, I think the Broncos playing at home is hypercritical.
You're talking about the noise. I'm talking about officiating.
Oh, okay. Officiating probably hoops. I think
that's what bothers me the most.
Yeah, I think they're influenced by the crowd.
And there's a lot of things that you could point at. Like, look how many times Phil Jackson kind of lobbied the officials. In one game, they didn't get enough. We see it night in and night out, and especially when you get to the postseason in the NBA. That bothers me. So I don't want to see them get to where they're behind as they are right now, the Lakers and the Rockets, and then it's the Nuggets. 14-6 is great. But if you want to get to the ultimate goal, which is here, it's championship or bust. Am I wrong?
Sure. No, it absolutely is.
That's another reason you asked the question on whether or not is that coach the guy to get you there.
All right. I love it. Just first I'd even considered it. Always making me think, Cello. Hey, let's take a look at these AFC standings before we get out of here. The good news is the Patriots finally have their bye this weekend. Last bye in the NFL, so they'll no longer be one game ahead of the Broncos. They're 11-2. Denver's 10-2. The best news, Broncos still control their own destiny for the number 1 seed because the tiebreakers are head-to-head. Well, they don't play each other this year, so that's out the window. Conference opponents. If both teams win out and go 15-2, they'll both be 12-2 in the conference. So then we have to go to tiebreaker number 3. And I never thought I'd say it, but thank goodness for the Las Vegas Raiders because they beat the Patriots in week 1.
It's crazy.
And if you sweep them, you will overtake them at 15-2 because of the common opponent's tiebreaker. I'm not predicting the Broncos are going to close the season on a 14-game winning streak, but it is nice, even with the disappointment that was Monday Night Football, to wake up today and know we get the bye, we get the 1 seed. If we keep winning, going deep into the tiebreakers, that would indeed favor the Broncos.
Something tells you it's going to be like Red Rover, send Bo Nix over. It's going to change a lot down the stretch. But that means, to your point right now, this game in Vegas on Sunday, not only do you want you want to look better against that team, but it does mean something.
It's huge.
If
it
you
keeps
drop
that common opponents in your favor.
There you go. To your point, I mean, that I didn't even think of that, but they have to beat the teams they're supposed to beat down the stretch. They got a couple tough ones. Like we were talking about whether it could be a trap game last week, Kyle and I, and we had Chris Bianchi on because the weather was going to be bad, and they were concerned that Washington game could be a trap game. I think I'm more concerned about this one because this one matters, and I think this team is kind of focused and disciplined enough that I'm just saying out of the 2 games, it was probably the one that I was more concerned of it being that case with because then you welcome in the Packers, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the Jaguars. Like those are 2 Jaguars. At the beginning of the year, we didn't think they were going to be this team.
No, they're pretty good.
And they just put a whooping on the Chargers a couple weeks back.
And speaking of those Chargers, they are 8-4. The Broncos are 10-2. Cello, remember, if the Chargers come to Denver week 18, 1 game back in the division, that game will be for the AFC West. Because if they win, they would be tied with the Broncos. They would be 2-0 head-to-head. So that's a sneaky thing. Everyone's focused on Christmas night against Kansas City, and I get it. You can kill the big bad witch. But you got to have a 2-game lead going into Week 18. Because if you have a 1-game lead in the division, you could go from the potential 1 seed to the 5 or 6 seed. If you lose Week 18 at home to the Chargers, they are a massive team to keep an eye on. You got to have that thing wrapped up before the final game of the season.
You keep trying to map it out, and that's where it gets crazy. That's where it goes from LA's easily the best team, the Rams I'm speaking of, to go into Carolina and drop that game after Carolina. Bryce Young had 78 yards against the Niners 6 days prior.
It could cost them the division. That's how fluid it is. You really hope to have a 2-game lead over the Chargers by the time that regular season finale rolls around. Cello, good stuff.
You too, my man.
It was a lot of fun.
Good job, Dante.
For Dante, Cello, Jake, his students, I'm Will. It's DST on the Fan.
It'll be fine by dusk, but I'm telling you, baby.
There's something in the orange and blue coming to Empower Field next August. Zach Bryan is bringing his With Heaven On tour to the Mile High City, and we want you there.
Let me go.
Download the Denver Sports 104.3 The Fan app and click on the contest banner to enter for your chance to win a pair of tickets to the hottest show of the summer.
We're having an all-night revival.
Denver Sports 104.3. The Fan.
Hey folks, Stoke here from my friends at Embers Golf, your go-to spot for holiday shopping. That's right, gear up, save big, and surprise the golf fan in your family. Embers Golf is family-owned and customer-focused, so you know you're getting the best service and the best deals. I know, I got a full bag fitting from my guys over there, Trevor and Tate. I'm telling you, it was the absolute best. I love my new clubs that I got this year. Driver 3-wood, all my iron. What a golf year it's been. So don't wait, shop now at embersgolf.com. Embers Golf, where your passion meets a greet.
Hey, Dan, that spaceship-wide lunch meeting at noon, please say it's not more astronaut ice cream and powdered orange drink.
Negatory. Ground Control hooked us up with EasyCater, so now we can order from a galaxy of restaurants with tools to stay on budget and meet our dietary needs.
Thank heavens. My dairy tolerance and anti-gravity is not great.
And with EasyCater, it's all on one simple platform, so we can focus on space stuff, like that asteroid. So how about tacos? Hold the cheese.
EasyCater, a stellar way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
If a Lenovo computer for your business is on your holiday list, don't shop around. Just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com. It's your last chance to get exclusive deals on the PCs you want for your business, like the ThinkPad X9 14 Aura Edition and Yoga 7i 2-in-1. So avoid all that shopping chaos and price comparing, and just go directly to the source, Lenovo.com, where PCs are up to 35% off. That's Lenovo.com.
Lenovo. Life happens. And then, debt happens. Your laptop dies when you need it most. A hospital bill hurts more than an injury. Enter End Credit Union with a free debt consultation and a plan built just for you. End is here to help you break the debt cycle and get your finances on track. Debt happens. End helps. Schedule your free consultation at end.com/coaching. Standard account and credit qualifications apply.
More than a few of our patients have talked to me about their first time, but it's not the first time you're probably thinking about. It's the first time that erectile dysfunction ruined the moment. This is Jeff for the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, and if you're over 50, it's likely you've had that first time yourself. But the good news is that if you're like most men, that first time can be the last time that ED impacts your sex life. At the Rocky Mountain Men's Clinic, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men using protocols with success rates well over 90%. And those treatments have, in most cases, made sex great again for both them and their partners. You could even find that you're performing like you haven't in years. So if ED has been affecting your intimacy, it's time to make the last time that happens the last time that happens. For just $99, you'll receive blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose.